All right, up at the top, I want you to write these two, or this phrase. Go, LA. Now, this is your key to figuring out how we're going to solve our absolute value inequalities. If it is a greater than, so G means greater than. The O means it's going to be an or situation. If it's greater than, we're going to use an or inequality, and I'll show you how to set that up. If it's L, that's less than. And A refers to the and. The and inequality, which would be A is less than or equal to whatever we have, which is less than or equal to, in this case, B. Now, take a look at, for example, number 1. Is this a less than or is this a greater than sign? All right, so it's a less than. So that's less than. So I want an and. So this is an LA situation. So what I do is I take that number 3 and I put a -3 here, less than or equal to, and then less than or equal to +3. That's the first setup. And in the middle, I'm going to put what's inside the absolute value sign. I'm not going to have an absolute value sign in there at all, but I'm going to put the whatever is in the middle. In this case, it's n divided by 4. So now, I don't want n divided by 4, I want n. So how do I get rid of that? I want to multiply that by 4. So I have to multiply this by 4. And I got to multiply this by 4. So what's 4 times -3? -12. That's going to be less than or equal to n, which is less than or equal to 12. So are these open dots or closed dots? Closed. So I'll take, at -12, I'll put a closed dot. At 12, I'll put a closed dot. Now, am I going to graph between them, or am I going to graph to the outside of them? Between them. Where'd I get the what?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, wait.
It comes from this number right here. So I use a -3 and a +3 because it says I need to be less than, whatever this is, it's less than 3. So if you think of it, whatever n minus 4 has to be within 3 of 0. So it has to be inside of -3 and inside of +3. And so when we multiply it out, we find out that we can have n actually be between -12 and 12. But we use this guy as this limit and this limit. Now, if we looked at number 2, is this less than or greater than? Less than. So it's an LA situation. So all I do is take the number here, which is 54. I put a -54 out front and a 54 here. And less than or equal to, less than or equal to, and what goes in the middle? negative 9v. But I want v, don't I? Divide by negative 9. What happens to the inequalities? They switch. This becomes greater than or equal to, and that becomes greater than or equal to. So what's negative 54 divided by 9? 6. What's 54 divided by negative 9? Negative 6. Now the nice thing is, if you just read it like this, v is still between 6 and negative 6. If we wanted to rewrite it into something that makes a little bit more sense, it'll end up being, we just rewrite it backwards. Negative 6 is less than or equal to v, which is less than or equal to 6. So we kind of write it backwards. It's got to make sense. We usually don't put greater thans like this. We usually, this is, that's the normal way of writing this. So then we're just going to connect. And that'll be our answer. All right, all the way up through number 9 are less than. So you're going to set them up the same way. Now 10 is the first one that's greater than. Well, yeah, I guess 3 is too. But let's go to 10. So this is going to be a go situation. Now, when we set up the go situation, we're going to set up 2 different situations. One of them is, I'm going to be less than or equal to negative 74, or I'm going to be greater than or equal to 74. So I'm going to be less than the smallest or greater than the biggest version of that number. And that's how you're always going to set it up. You're going to be less than the smallest or greater than the biggest. And then we just put the 7x plus 4 out front. And we put an or in the middle. And then solve each one. Subtract the 4. So 7x is less than or equal to 78. Divide by 7, divide by 7. 11 1/7. Negative 11 1/7. If I subtract 4 here, we get x is greater than or equal to 10. So I can go here. Here's 10. I want greater than or equal to 10, so I want these. And then there's 10, 11, right around there. Yeah, That's it. That's how you set them up. It's Go LA. It's nice and easy. All you have to do is go LA and you're all set.